You know, chances are if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to start burning fat. Maybe you're overweight, maybe you're trying to lean out, whatever the reason might be, you have excess fat on your body and you want to start to lose it. And you obviously know with Ozempic, there are a lot of insane risks that come along with taking it. And we're going to get into that in this video. I mean, guys, you got people going blind, having stomach paralysis. Like, the risks are insane. And although this isn't a fasting specific video, we are going to talk about that as an alternative for you to get started. Sure, it might take a little longer to reach your goal, but there's a reason why shortcuts have risks. If a shortcut was the best way to do something, it would just be the way. It wouldn't be a shortcut, right? So before we get into this entire video, I just want to share this image with you guys. I know my Microsoft Paint skills are absolutely legendary. You can let me know down in the comment section below. But I'm a visual learner, like a lot of you guys. And so this chart right here is how I like to explain to people why fasting works. So, you know, your body needs to first burn through its glycogen stores in its liver and muscle for energy before it switches gears and starts burning fat for energy. And it takes about, on average, about 12 to 16 hours of fasting, so not eating any food, for your body to burn through its glycogen stores and then start burning fat for energy. You're burning fat for energy, what's happening? You're burning fat, right? And so most of you right now, especially, you know, obviously if you're not fasting, you know, maybe you're in a fasted state when you go to bed and you wake up in the morning, and maybe you might even skip breakfast, but that might not be enough time to where your body has burned through enough glycogen to really start tapping to that fat and protein. Maybe you get to about here, then you have lunch and you're back to over there because you've replenished the glycogen, you know, in your system. And then you don't eat for a couple hours and you're back here. And you don't eat for a couple hours and you have a snack and you're back here. And you're just never getting to this side of the equation because you don't allow enough time for your body to really get into a fasted state. You're constantly eating throughout the day. You're constantly snacking throughout the day. And let's say you have your last meal, let's say at like 7 o'clock at night, you're in bed by 10, and now your body obviously isn't eating any food because you're asleep. And then you get to about here, you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and decide, I want a little snack, and you're back over there, right? So like you're never getting to this side of the chart to burn fat for energy. This is why fasting works. You're burning through the glycogen, and then you're sitting on this side of the chart for a few hours, depending on how long your fast is, and now you're burning fat for energy. And then you eat food, you're back over here, and then you fast for another 12 to 16 hours, and you burn a little more, and burn a little more, and burn a little more. And it's through this process over time that's going to help you control your diet and lose weight. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's video. You know, I actually wanted to make this video a couple weeks ago, but I felt like every time I could sit down and had the time to do it, I would find something new about Ozempic that I had to put into my notes and just kind of figure out where I was going to fit it in. Like this right here. This was a new one that I saw actually the other day, and it talks about how Ozempic is made from reptile venom. I'm going to play a little bit of this guy's video real quick just so you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
They never told you it was venom. I didn't know it was venom. I looked it up. What kind of drug is this? Oh, it's a GLP-1 drug. What the hell does GLP-1 drug mean? Never heard that in my life. Holy crap, it comes from the venom of a lizard? I want to ask you, all of you at home, how many of you are convinced that you or your loved ones are overweight and diabetic because you have a Gila monster venom deficiency?
Now, obviously, like, he's making kind of a joke out of it. And this is why it's important to do your own research first. Because after I saw this video, I was like, there's no way it's reptile venom. And if you type in Ozempic lizard poison, which I did here on Google, you can actually see that it is an active ingredient. It's a semi-glutide, but it's synthetically produced, right? So it's not like they're taking it directly out of the lizard, but research into this lizard and the venom it produces has allowed, you know, the pharmaceutical companies to come up with drugs that contain semi-glutides, which is another word for what Ozempic is, to help you with losing weight. And what he said resonated with me. I could either control my diet and eat correctly and be consistent and have accountability, or I can inject these foreign substances in my body that come from animals that are known for being poisonous. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, we as humans, we will go out of our way. You'll go to the doctor's office. You'll wait there for 15 hours. You'll go get a prescription. You'll drive all over town to make all this happen. And we would rather do that than just control our eating, right? It's just a very simple concept once you kind of grasp it and really think about it. And although that's not a side effect, I just thought it was interesting for y'all to know where Ozempic came from, or at least the idea on how to synthesize this semaglutide, right? But this, however, is a very serious side effect that I want to talk about. Stomach paralysis. This is another word for it right here. This is a very serious thing. In a lot of cases, it is not reversible once this happens to you. And I have seen horror stories on Twitter of people who are suffering and dealing with stomach paralysis, and there's ways and there's treatments to get around it, but basically what's happening is, stomach paralysis is a functional disorder affecting your stomach's nerves and muscles, and it makes your stomach muscles contractions weaker and slower than they need to be to digest your food and pass it on to your intestines. And this leads to food sitting too long in your stomach. So all that food can't get digested, can't get past to the intestines, and it just sits and it rots in your stomach. And of course, that in itself is a huge issue, can lead to insane health problems. But then my wife, Erica, shared this video with me last week, which is again why I had to delay making this video, talking about how people are dying from general anesthetic when they go and have surgery. Anesthesia when they go and have surgery because of this problem right here of the food sitting in the stomach and stomach paralysis. So let me play this video in full because this is really interesting. Here we go.
You thought Ozempic Face was a problem when you're taking Ozempic, the aging process that happens as a result of fat loss and weight loss. What I'm about to share with you is a lot more important and something I want you to really, really take to heart and also share, because this could be life or death and really important to understand this. So there's been a number of deaths that have been reported throughout the country on patients who have undergone general anesthesia who have been on Ozempic. And the problem is they're having issues with aspiration pneumonia, which basically means that your stomach is still full of food at the time of surgery, despite being told to stop eating for about 8 hours.
So you see that, right? Like, a lot of you, maybe not every one of you has had to have surgery before, but it's pretty common knowledge, like when you have to have surgery and have a procedure done, don't eat the night before, right? They want you to come in pretty much in a fasted state so that most of the food is out of your body. So listen to what he has to say.
And then that food makes its way up and goes into the lungs, and then oftentimes causes a very, very heavy chemical reaction in the lungs that leads to, unfortunately, death in many cases. So the point of it is, if you're on Ozempic or know anyone who's on Ozempic, the new guidelines are that you want to stay off of it for a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks before any type of elective surgery that involves general anesthesia, to allow the stomach to return to its normal transit time and allow the food to clear so you can have a safer operation. Important to tell your...
So what he's saying there, right, is 3 to 4 weeks. Normally it would take about, 8 to 12 hours just the night before. But if you're on Ozempic and you have to have a surgery done, you have to go under general anesthesia, 3 to 4 weeks for your stomach to return to its normal function. If it does, if you end up getting stomach paralysis, I don't even know what the procedure would be if you have to get surgery. Guys, like, the risks are insane if you're jumping on a drug like Ozempic. And he also talked about Ozempic Face, which is where, like, all the fat in your face gets kind of melted and you look like this. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But another serious side effect that I think is more important than Ozempic Face is people are going blind. Now, in the studies that I've seen, it's been about like 9 confirmed cases of people going blind. This lady right here, you can even see in her left eye, she basically woke up and that her left eye was blind. And then I went and actually found the article, and I'll put these links down in the info section below for you guys as well. But in this article right here, it says more Americans, and I thought that was interesting too, right? It's like, it's not more people, it's more Americans, because we're just a fat, obese society, and we praise each other for being fat, and, we don't want to body shame each other, and we want to support everyone. But at the end of the day, like, we are a fat, obese country, and we need to get our shit together, or else we're going to keep taking drugs like Ozempic, and we're going to have stomach paralysis, we're going to die under general anesthesia, and it looks like we're all going to start going blind too. So basically what's happening here, I won't read the whole article, obviously, you guys can, I'll link it down below. Several studies have linked the shots to a condition that causes inflammation and block blood flow to the eye, causing severe and sometimes permanent vision loss. Now, researchers have detailed 9 new reports of U.S. patients who went blind after taking semaglutide, the active ingredients in Ozempic, respectively. One woman who is, I believe the woman on this photo right here, doesn't have her photo here, she injected 1 dose of a semaglutide, guys. 1 dose of a semaglutide for her diabetes and woke up the next morning blind in her left eye. That is insane. Can you imagine going to the doctor and getting a medication that's supposed to help you and you wake up freaking blind for the rest of your life? So obviously, this prompted her to stop the medication for 2 months before her diabetes forced her to go back on it. 2 weeks after restarting, she lost vision in her right eye as well. So now this woman is blind because of this drug. Now, obviously, having this happen to only 9 people out of the millions that are taking it, some of you guys might say, you know what, it's worth the risk. Knowing my luck, I would be the 10th. Like, I'll just be honest with you guys. I would be the 10th person that went blind. That's why I never took steroids. Because you guys never see the horror stories of the people who went on 1 cycle and their hormones just went to, like, absolute trash. And they have erectile dysfunction their whole life, right? You only see, the sexy photos on Instagram of the people who jump on steroids and other gear, and they look amazing. Obviously, because that's what's going to get the most likes. The dude who took 1 cycle, has erectile dysfunction and can't build muscle, isn't going to have a big Instagram following, let's just face it, right? So, like, you don't hear those horror stories. But it's important that you know they exist, because it's going to help guide you to make the right decisions for yourself. And I'll post this news article too, and there were some people talking on here. I thought this was funny. People on Ozempic are losing weight because they can't find the refrigerator. It's definitely my humor. But this person right here said exactly what I was saying. With 15 million people in the U.S. haven't taken this, 9 people going blind is a whatever chance. It's still a chance, right? There's still a chance that something can't happen, and this is one of the side effects. And if you don't go blind, maybe you get stomach paralysis, right? Like, we just don't know what's going to happen to you, unfortunately, until you do it, right? And so we talked about earlier the Ozempic Face, and this is what they're saying right here. This is actually a pretty good image where a lot of the celebrities, I say celebrities because we obviously see photos of them all the time. There have been a lot of celebrities, whether it's been 100% confirmed or not, have lost a ton of weight over a very short amount of time. It could be due to an eating disorder for some of them. We don't know, right? But a lot of it, with Ozempic being like such a hot drug and a hot topic, 99% chance sure that a lot of them jumped on Ozempic and they're getting Ozempic Face. So, like, what's happening is all of the fat in the face is kind of, just getting shredded. And so you have this, like, sunken eye feature here. You have wrinkles showing up. You have more prominent bone structure showing, thinning lips, and of course, sagging skin. These were some photos I have found online where it's not confirmed 100% that these celebrities were on it, Scott Disick and Jessica Simpson, but, like, you can see the difference in the face, right? If we were to make an educated guess, it looks like it could be Ozempic Face, maybe some other drugs, I don't know, but that's the hot topic here. Here's another one. I believe this is Katy Perry, and you can see, like, face looks full and beautiful, and over here, like, everything is just, like, sunken and tucked in. And then a big one that everyone is talking about, it's not 100% confirmed, is Ariana Grande. I mean, she is just withering away. I really hope someone helps her soon, and her co-star on Wicked. Like, they are just, like, withering away. It's terrible to see this photo right here. But again, you can see the features in the face like very sunken, right? And she has a lot of makeup on right here in order to try and combat that. And this post kind of sums it up. Semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic, can cause permanent vision loss, but hey, look at me, I'm skinny, right? And that's basically what it's coming down to is a lot of people just want to lose the weight. They're having a hard time, and it's so hard to just go out there and get good information that's going to help them. That's why I started this video with my, legendary paint skills to show you guys why an alternative like fasting, it's not a crash diet. You're not doing anything crazy. In fact, most of you will still eat the same amount of food that you were eating to be in a caloric deficit, but you'll just do it in a smaller eating window, and that alone is going to help you lose weight for the reasons I discussed when I was showing you that graph. I'm going to post this Twitter link down below too, because it kind of really rifles through everything I was saying. If you want to share this with your friends, if they don't want them to watch the entire video, this Twitter post is amazing. It's by this guy, Matthew Peloso. But, some other things that are happening, the Ozempic nightmare, making people blind, 481 psychiatric events, 50% develop depression. Of course you're going to develop depression, right? I mean, you're starving yourself. You're never happy with yourself, right? All these things. Permanent bone loss, osteoporosis. That's another big one. In fact, I didn't even get into that, and I probably should. So, the reason why people are losing weight so fast when they go on Ozempic is because essentially they're not eating, right? Like it slows the functions down of your stomach, which can lead to stomach paralysis, which is something we talked about. But, what happens when you're not eating food, you're not getting enough calories, your body has to burn something for energy. When it burns through all its glucose and it burns through all its fat and protein, the fat and protein part is when your body can start burning muscle tissue. So a lot of these people, a third of the weight that they're losing is their muscle tissue. And a lot of these people that go on Ozempic, they're not exercising. They don't have the energy to. And they're like, well, why go to the gym? I already look skinny. So what's happening is on top of the fat loss, on top of the muscle loss, because you're never putting any sort of stress or tension on your bones, because you're not lifting weights and you're not active, you start to have bone density loss, osteoporosis, literally. And a lot of it's not reversible. And you're stuck with that the rest of your life. And I've seen horror stories on Twitter of people saying, I was only on Ozempic for a year. Now I have osteoporosis and I'm kind of screwed. That is the reality of what happens when you take the risk, right? Again, it's a shortcut to weight loss. If it was just something that worked, it would be the way. It wouldn't be a shortcut. It wouldn't be something that you would have to get prescribed in order to take, guys. So it's really important that you understand all of that if Ozempic is something that you're thinking about doing. But if you want to do it the right way, I think now is a great time to talk a little bit about fasting. But before we do, speaking of time, a quick break to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, which is actually, sponsored by me in WAGMI Games, a gaming studio that I've been creating for the last 3 years. Whether you're a competitive or casual gamer, guys, you're going to absolutely love playing WAGMI Defense, whether you're on iPhone or Android. There's a quick tutorial that shows you how to play, and then what you're going to do is pick a side, aliens or humans. That's going to be your starting deck. And as you win battles, you'll get war chests, which contain more cards to help you collect all the characters in the game so you can constantly switch up your strategies. And there's even special editions of the cards that you can collect if you're into that sort of thing. But we're more than just a game. We've been building an entire franchise. We have an anime, we have comics, we have a YouTube's collectibles, we have a toy line coming. We also have cosplay. This isn't just a photo. This is me inside of a mech suit in New York City, and it lights up. It was badass. So go to our website, wagmigames.com. Watch the anime trailer. Guys, you're going to fall in love with these characters. Our universe and our lore is so exciting, and I can't wait for you guys to be a part of what we've been building over the course of the last 3.5 years. So fasting. If you made it through the entire video and got to this point, first of all, let me just say that I'm very excited to have you here with me because I truly believe that for a lot of you, a simple thing like fasting is going to change your life. Okay? And the reason why I really took a look into it was because I was starting to look at photos of myself from a few years ago and then comparing them to older videos that I have on YouTube where I was much more shredded. The biggest I got was here in 2023, and I was about 199 pounds. This is me in Greece. This is me paddleboarding somewhere in Florida. But let's zoom in a little bit right here. Look at the face, okay? Look at my face on the right-hand side. You can just tell that I'm holding a lot of body fat. I mean, this looks absolutely terrible. In fact, y'all never seen this photo because I absolutely hated how it came out. I look like one of my fat uncles, which might sound insulting, but he knows he's fat, right? I look like him. It started to get to me, right? And, it's kind of like this thing where, yeah, sure, like you don't always have your shirt off. Like in a tank top, I looked massive. I was benching 275 for reps on the incline press. But then you go on vacation and you start to see photos like this. I mean, this is my wife and I in Greece a couple years ago. Both these photos are from 2023. And in the right lighting, I could make myself look really good, right? Like we all know the tricks for social media. But just standing out there without the right lighting and just chilling, I didn't like the amount of body fat I was carrying. And some of you guys might be like, hey, Scott, shut your mouth. You're not anywhere near fat in these photos. But to me, in my brain, I know what I used to look like, and this is not it. In fact, this is what I used to look like here on the left, right? Absolutely shredded all of the time. Didn't matter if it was summer, if it was winter, if it was spring, it was fall. I was always shredded. That's just my look, right? That's what got me big on YouTube. It's a natural guy teaching people how to stay in shape without having to kill themselves. Now, this image on the right, so the one on the left is me, and I was probably like 28, 29. The image on the right is me yesterday. And as you guys know, I'm 40 years old, okay? And I actually posted a video on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me, it's just Scott Herman Fitness on Instagram. Just doing the simple flex that I talk about it here. I haven't been able to pull off this flex and be this lean through my torso in a very long time. And I know I'm able to look the way I look now and be very comparative to how I used to be back then because of the fasting. Now, of course, I am in a caloric deficit, but as I showed you guys in the beginning, if you're not fasting or hitting a fasted state, you're never really allowing your body to start burning that fat for energy, right? You kind of get close and you might be burning a little bit, but then you eat again and you're back to square one. And so when I started fasting back in February, and I was making a big deal out of it, that's just the way I am with everything. I'm like, my wife would ask me a question and what I'm doing, and I would always relate it to fasting because I have a issue. I get obsessed with things, I guess, right? But in a healthy way. But what I noticed was after the first couple weeks, I started to see changes. Like for the longest time, I was able in 2023 when I was 199 pounds through diet and exercise and adding more cardio, I was able to get my weight down and I was stuck between like 185 and 186. And I felt like sometimes the way I was doing my caloric deficit, it was affecting my energy in the gym. I just didn't like it. And I couldn't break through that barrier. And some of you guys might not know this, but I spend a lot of time sitting in this chair because I'm filming and editing content, and also, building my gaming studio is a lot of work. And so I can't be in the gym every single day for 2-3 hours like I used to, right? Whether it's doing a hardcore workout, additional cardio, things like that. And just sitting down all day leads to you not burning as many calories. Like a lot of us don't gain weight as we get older just because we got older. It's because you are less active. Like, this is legit the reason why you are gaining weight. You're eating the same amount of food, but you're not burning as many calories. You're getting less active. Processes in your body start to slow down. You're not producing as many hormones. All these things kind of compound over time. And so when I started, really focusing on my fast, I said, I'm just going to hit the ground running. That's the way I like to do things. And I jumped into 20-hour fasts. And so I only eat like 5 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. And at first, it was actually really hard to do that. But like anything, your body gets used to it And then over time, you'll find that you can do it without any sort of issues. You can still get all of your calories in that short eating window. I will admit that the first couple times that I did it, well, not the first couple times, first week and a half, I would get very sleepy. But luckily, my fasting window, or when I would eat, is after I'm basically done working all day and I've already gotten back home from the gym, right? So if I got a little sleepy, it wasn't a big deal. You'll have to figure out your own schedule. But guys, just type in like simple keywords in Google, like fasting, deplete glycogen. You want to learn more about the things I talked about, you can see that here. This is a good one, how long to fast to reach autophagy, which we're going to talk a little bit about autophagy right now. It's the most important thing when it comes to fasting and why all of you need to be doing it. Basic reason is like when you're giving your body food and you're never giving your body a chance to get into a fasted state and start to do autophagy, which is kind of like getting rid of and recycling diseased cells. The food that you're eating is feeding both the good cells and the disease or zombie cells. So they're never going away. They're always in your body. That's why it's so important to do this. And so to reach autophagy, they say, 12 to 16 hours. And then prolonged fasting may enhance autophagy and provide additional benefits. So you'll hear of people every once in a while doing a crazy like 24 to 48 hours of fasting. I haven't done this yet. I'll probably try it soon. The way my schedule is, I haven't wanted to implement this yet. But, autophagy, and again, just type in autophagy fasting on Google. It's not that hard to do. You guys can research this stuff on your own. You don't have to take my word for it. But basically, when you fast, your body depletes its energy stores and starts breaking down old and damaged proteins and other cellular components for fuel. This process, known as autophagy, helps clean up the cellular environment and promote cellular renewal, okay? And you can read even more about the benefits of fasting down here. So cellular repair. Autophagy removes damaged cells and proteins, which can help prevent diseases such as cancer and neurodegenerative disorders. Pronouncing new words is not my best thing. Don't rip me too hard in the comment section. Improve metabolic health. Fasting can improve insulin sensitivity, reduce blood sugar levels, and promote weight loss, which is what we've talked about this entire video. Enhanced immune function. Autophagy can help strengthen the immune system by eliminating damaged cells and proteins that could trigger inflammation. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. So for the last couple of years, my massage therapist Tony, you guys see me talk about him before. I've been doing a lot of cardio and I love doing sprints. Sprints will change your life as well. Like when I do cardio, I'll do like a 3 to 4 mile run, but I'm not doing it to run 3 to 4 miles. I'm just making sure that I have at least 3 to 4 miles so I can get a good like 3, 4, maybe 5 hard sprints in where I'm going all out for 30 seconds to a minute max. Because when you do sprints, you increase your human growth hormone production by like 776%. I've done videos on this. There's studies on this, right? Sprinting will change your life. Like when you do cardio, don't just do steady state for a long period of time. Just legit go as long as you need to get like 2, 3, 4 hardcore sprints in, and that's it. And so when you finish your sprint too, like when I'm doing my running, I sprint and then I'm walking for 2 or 3 minutes to recover, and then I start to jog again, and then I hit another sprint, usually when a good song comes on my iPod or whatever I'm listening to, right? So, but anyway, so like my ankles, like my Achilles heel area, has just been hurting so bad. It takes like a good 5 to 10 minutes of warming up with a slow jog for the pain to go away. And when I say pain, guys, I literally mean it feels like somebody's taking knives and stabbing the absolute crap out of my ankles when I'm running, okay? Like legit, it hurts a lot. In fact, a weaker person wouldn't even go for a run. The amount of pain that hurts me that for the last few years. After the 2.5 weeks of fasting, it's like a lot of inflammation just went away. I still get a little bit of pain. It's almost gone. There's only so much I can do with Tony, like basically trying to, it's my calves area, like that was really tight from all the cardio I was doing. But a lot of the inflammation went away. I couldn't believe it, right? I couldn't believe it. So it does help with inflammation, reduced inflammation. And there's some other things down here that you guys can check into about autophagy. But, you know, basically what we're talking about with Ozempic versus fasting, let's wrap this video up. When you go on a drug like Ozempic, you're introducing something forward into your body. There's a lot of risks that are associated with that. Some of these risks can absolutely ruin your life, even if you only use the drug once, like going blind. Or maybe you only say, oh, I'm just going to use it for a year and get down to my goal weight. Then you get to your goal weight and you have stomach paralysis and you have Ozempic Face. You've lost a lot of muscle mass and now you have osteoporosis. These are all things that can happen to you when you introduce a foreign substance versus just taking some of the simple things I talked about today, which is quite literally making sure you're in a caloric deficit, you're eating healthy, but you're just eating in a smaller eating window. A lot of people associate fasting with starving yourself. You're not starving yourself. You're still eating food. You're just eating it in a smaller window that you can allow your body to burn through its glucose and start tapping into fat for energy and start to lose weight. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It's a long video, I know that, but while sitting here filming it, it does feel like it went super fast for me, so I can only assume that it went super fast for you. And one last thing, guys, if you do need help with a workout program, go to my website, muscularstrength.com. I have fat loss programs you can do at home or at the gym. I, of course, have muscle gain programs that you can do at home or at the gym. And all of my programs come with a meal plan system that you can use. It's actually a really cool system that you input all your information and it helps you build a meal plan around your favorite foods. And all of my workout programs come with PDF downloads, form demonstration videos, and you can try them all for free just by going to my website, muscularstrength.com. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. See ya.